button has been pressed. Things are moving around on my screen. And we're live. Keith, please.
Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
You're going to like today's guest. He's new to Keith and the Girl, but his stand-up is so good. And maybe I steered you, audience, in the wrong direction once or twice over 20 years. Sometimes I have said, this guy's stand-up is great. I'm like,
And it's just a
why the
miss.
why did I even say that? Like, why would I say that? But and I try not to lie to the audience because there's some horrible stand-ups that are great communicators on the podcast. So I'll try to say something without selling out. Congrats on your album, I'll say, or you must feel good, right? Or and I'm like, amazing lighting, something like that. But this stand-up I really enjoy. Here's the new guest, Adam Cayton-Holland. Hello, Adam Cayton-Holland.
Hello, I'm glad you enjoy the stand-up. But listen, if someone is disappointed in it, either way, I'm happy to be talked about. I'm just really pumped for the attention. So thank you.
And I'm with you, Adam. Like, hey, if you're watching this video or if you're, on any kind of platform, thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever button you want to press, I'm into it.
Hit all the buttons. We'll be
Mhm.
dead so soon. Just smash your keyboard. Who gives a shit?
Right. It's a trick. The thumbs down are really thumbs up. You just don't know it. It's,
Yeah,
it's all a
totally.
trick. It's all a trick.
Totally. Totally.
This always fascinates me. Adam Cayton-Holland, whether somebody has three names or two and one's hyphenated, I always got to ask, with love, what the fuck is this?
Thanks for prefacing it with love. It is
It makes all the difference, doesn't it?
it
It's
does.
like
It's like
bless your heart.
I'm gonna punch you, but here's a little pet. Here's a peck on the cheek first. My mom's a feminist. There you go. Boom. She wanted her
Right.
name included. She burned her bra and she said, next step, my kids get my name on their last name. And my dad is a liberal civil rights attorney, hippie. He said, hell yeah, of course. Never mind that everybody will fuck up their last names for the rest of their lives and call him Adam Clayton-Holland everywhere he goes.
Sure.
They shall be the hyphenated children. And now it is my burden. It is my cross to bear.
Her last name was Holland?
She's Cayton, dad's Holland.
Oh, she got even first.
Oh yeah, well they went. Holland Cayton. I don't think would sound good. That's when you're playing the phonetics game. I think
Right.
I've heard a lot of hyphenated last names over the years. I do think Cayton-Holland has a certain ring to it. Sounds all right, but yeah, that's the story of the clunky last name.
Hayden
All right.
Holland sounds like you're successful, like or you can
It's a,
fake it, okay. But
thank you.
also, yeah, I disagree with Keith. I think
Hmm.
the fact like whoever has the last name, Holland, is like, well, that's the last name, you
I
know?
get, I get. It works either way. I mean, it's just like a nonstop burden. Like in hotels, they look you up. It's like, are you up? I don't have you. I'm like, well, just go to H then. I guarantee it's under Holland.
Right.
Now I'm not seeing Caden. Hey, asshole. Like you got to play that game.
And
But
I also love, the whole, yes, the kid gets both of our names. What I wonder is like another one or two generations down the line, like if you have a kid and they want to get married, do they now have four last names?
right.
That's where I want, because I love these like new things because it's new. What young people don't know is that we used to just it's it's so easy for a woman, for a female to change their name upon marriage. It's a checkbox. I'm not sure that it's a checkbox yet for men. So it is a lot to merge those. Like everyone decided to change their credit cards. Everyone decided,
It's
like, I think
work.
your social security, like all of this shit. So in the next generation, what are we doing? Are we
He with the most last names laughs last. Just get as many as you can.
I see.
I mean, it's funny. Like I will say, my mom stayed Caton, my dad stayed Holland, so they didn't saddle themselves with this shit.
Oh,
They're individuals.
that's
It's only the
hilarious.
children who are. But my wife married me, and I just reversed the feminist course. She took my name. She's a Cayton-Holland now. The boys are Cayton-Hollands. They'll have to cross that bridge again with their whatever partners. But yeah, Cayton-Holland is we're growing. We're growing in numbers rapidly over here.
Oh
One of your
no, is your
kids.
mother upset now?
I mean, she's not upset. I just pushed my name that she gave me, and my wife accepted. I wasn't like, it's this or I walk. My wife's kind of more old school and was like, I'll have your name, all good. And
Mm.
here we are.
Yeah, your kid's gonna be Stephen them. They don't
Yeah,
have all
exactly.
day.
My son is named Malcolm, and lately he's started telling us he wants to be called LM, and we're like, what is LM? What is this like Middle Eastern sounding name? And he's like, well, it reminds me of the word lemon. And we're like, all right, LM. Like, cool.
That is so cute.
So weird. So he's currently, as he told the doctor the other day, LM, not Malcolm, LM.
What is it like being woke, for lack of a better word, and having how old now? 2 and 4, 1 and 3,
2 and 5.
2 and 5.
Yeah.
And but deep down, you can't listen to half this shit the kids are saying because they
I
don't
mean,
mean it. What's the
They don't
line?
mean it. Yeah. I just feel like, I mean, every generation, I think, gets a little softer. Every dad gets, you talk about here like Great Depression dads that it's like, don't look at them or they'll hit you. Like, it just feels like every dad gets a little softer. Now it's just like, whatever the kid's into, fine. If you're not hurting yourself, fine. You want to be called LM for a month? We'll rock it.
Right.
It's all good. You wanted to be Ryder from Paw Patrol a year ago, and that was
Right.
annoying, but we called you that. Like, whatever you want to do, dude, it's fine.
Did
If
you
it
just
starts-
marry somebody in school? Okay, good.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, I mean, I think when it's like something serious, and you're like, oh wow, you are trying to be something else, and
Right.
well, let's talk about that versus like dumb kid shit. So I don't get too mad. There's a lot of other things I get madder about than this.
Sure. I do want to get into the family. First, I want to mention your podcast, The Grolic Saves the World. What a world we live in with the podcast. I mean it. Thank God. I know it's my job, but thank God. It's fantastic. You know, when I was a kid, yeah, and by kid, I mean 20s. When you wanted to hear what a celebrity had to say, for example, you had to turn on Entertainment Tonight.
Right.
Now they tweet out their thoughts. They go on podcasts. They say things they shouldn't say. And it's so fun and it's so exciting. I don't know. It's only going to get crazier when your kids are adults. I honestly don't see how. I'm hearing.
I agree. I used to get magazines. I used to get like Bop magazine and whatever,
Yep.
and learn about Who's the Boss. What's her name?
Alyssa
Alyssa Milano.
Sure, yeah.
This was who I wanted to be, right? She got a little bit of attitude, she comes from Brooklyn,
It's a great choice.
But also she went to the mall and was into boys. And I'm like, and I used to go to the mall like, what's happening here? Where's the fun stuff? Like all the sitcoms were like, let's go to the mall. I'm like, all right, we're going to the mall. Here we go, mom. Drop me off at the mall. A lot of crazy shit is about to happen. And I would walk around the mall going like, what? And I didn't know this at the time. I just thought like, I'm out and about, and that's good enough. But I'm walking around just going like, is something supposed to happen? Because all I want to do is buy shit. I'm very hungry and I don't want to pay money for Chinese food. I can hear my mom's head going like, there's food at home. And I'm like, what happens at the mall that Alyssa Milano wants to be dropped off so much? Then I would read these Bop magazines and it's not, her character. It's actually her. So what am I learning about Alyssa Milano? I start with a brown belt and I match my shoes to the belt. So if I'm wearing a brown belt, I'm wearing brown shoes. And then that's what I got out of like how to be a celebrity, what celebrities think about. If you're going to wear a brown belt, wear brown shoes. So there you go. That's a podcast from 1919. When was I born?
So now we have the real podcast and we know her political views and all this stuff. Thank God it is exciting that it's do it yourself to literally everybody. Thank goodness we saw the footage from the Capitol riots, right? It's like, oh, how'd you catch me? I'm like, you put it on YouTube. Oh, you subscribe?
I had a joke on my last album about how I'd love to watch that attempted overthrow. I'd love to watch Jan 6 with guys who have successfully performed coups, like dictators in foreign countries and like militants in like El Salvador. I mean, like, what are you doing posting footage of this? Like, do not put your feet on that. You're in the Capitol. You're there, man. It's like, sorry, gotta get footage, dude. It's like, no, it's beheading time. Just watching guys who like mean business versus internet idiots trying.
I'm just saying, a thumbs down is still a like. So
totally.
Armie Hammer was on a podcast. A comedian named Brittany Schmidt had him on, or no, excuse me, was talking about him. Was talking about Armie Hammer and when she dated him for a hot second. Armie Hammer is the one who texts went out of his private messages to different women about cannibal tendencies. God, I'd love, not even cute, like I want to nibble on your fucking arm, but like, I do want to fry your liver. I do want to cut off your foot and drip the blood in my mouth. And then, surprise, surprise, he was also very sexually abusive to multiple women.
Right. I
So putting those things together, Hollywood's not looking for him so fast anymore. He was the older guy in Call Me By Your Name. That was
right, exactly. I remember that.
Armie Hammer was said by Brittany Schmidt that he's an amateur tattoo artist He started picking up. He just picked up ink. He started doing strangers. Strangers are still, attracted to celebrity, no matter how weird you are. He
Yeah.
tattooed these people, and he went by the name Cannibal Ink.
Wow. So he's just leaning into it.
Yeah, and she literally said that. She goes, he thought it was funny, and I was like, maybe don't lean into that.
I don't know. I mean, like, now you just see if you get canceled or you do weird shit or you're just like cast out of the zeitgeist, if you lean into that, there's a whole other audience that's like, that's my dude. And that's just, I think that is the internet. That's like, you can get polarized in any which way. So it's like, Cannibal, fuck that dude. He's disgusting. Meanwhile, cannibalfans.org is like, yeah, Army Hammer for president. Like, it's just, there is
Yeah,
no.
I think we need to
you do a heel turn in wrestling.
We need to stop calling it canceled, because canceled, I think the original intent was like, no one wants you anymore. You have been canceled from life. Like you should be in jail, really, is what canceled original. Like you didn't go to jail, so we're putting you in the jail of we're not paying attention to you anymore. Right. But what it has turned out to be is, like you said, a pivot, or to me, we're just shining a light. So now we really see you, and now you get the audience you really want.
I know. And I think people thought, well, there will be no audience for that. You've been shut out from the tradition. And then that is what the internet is like. No, there's all manner of perverse audience for whatever you're trying to sell. So it is just like, you got to go somewhere else. The mainstream is not accepting you, but you'll turn somebody else into your fan base. And it's
pedophiles have an audience.
Chris D'Elia still sells out theaters. There's like no canceling. Right. It's just like, nope, just find a different group of assholes. It's exactly what you started the podcast off with. A like button, it's down button. It means nothing. It's just attention. It's attention.
And by the way, if you think we're joking that we're using it as a joke that the like button is the same as the thumbs down, it is truly in the algorithm. If you hit someone's thumbs down button, the algorithm shows it the same as if you hit someone's thumbs up button. All it needs is for you to interact with it. So a negative comment is just a comment to YouTube and all platforms. A thumbs down button is just a button. It means people are talking about you. It means people want to interact with you. And that's how you raise someone's algorithm. That's why we sit here going, can you give us a like? Can you press a button in front of me? Can you tell me I'm pretty on a platform? Just tell me I'm pretty on a platform. Just type it out, hit enter, wherever. I don't care where. Please. Because you can tell me I'm go ahead. Write all the comments underneath here should be Chemda is the ugliest person I've ever seen. Thank you.
This is how Chemda doesn't get affected when somebody writes that. She's like, no, I told them to.
I did, yes. It was my fault.
I think you guys should sell merch that says a thumbs down button is just a button. And then in the back, it should say like John 3:16 or something. Like some pivot it to Christ. But definitely get merch going that way.
Or just push my button.
And it's just one of many examples. But bringing up Chris D'Elia, the guy's gets caught, it's understood, fucking underage people. And he takes a little break, goes back to his podcast, and it's like, well, you guys understand, Holly weird. Now, the audience that does fall for this bullshit, because there never was an explanation ever.
Right.
The people that fall for it, are they doing weird shit in their lives? Or is it just so easy to not look into anything and be like, let's just call it Holly weird, and you weren't fucking underage fans?
I think even if they're not doing the weird things themselves, I think they're kind of, I don't know if proud is the word, but like they look up to someone who can get young women or young girls who can have that kind of clout. Like I don't think they see it as, there's some people, there's grass, play ball, like all that kind of shit. Like just because the law says a number, it doesn't mean that people are not high-fiving each other for getting some of that, whatever that is.
I think you're very right, and you can speak to that more because you're a woman.
Okay, I gotta go. Thank you so much.
I think you're dead on. But I also think, just more generally speaking, with the people who are like canceled for this shit, and they'll say stuff like Holly weird, and that's enough of an excuse. I think there's enough sort of dumb people out there that want to feel smart that if they can like get behind someone who's like, they're not telling you the truth, I'm telling you the truth, then they're like, see, I'm smart. You're not pulling the wool over my eyes. Leah says Holly weird. Yeah, it is Holly weird. We're smarter. We know something they don't know over here. I think it's
You know
like a
what, Adam?
search
You're
for
smart too. What
intelligence.
the fuck? But I think you identify as male. I'm gonna go with it. You're smart. That's very cool.
I go as LM currently. There is no gender here.
And
It's
LM is
just
now LM Junior.
yeah, it's a state of being.
Well, I think you're right in that. Wait, what was your point just now? So I could tell
I think
you how you were.
this is speaking
Oh
to the
yeah,
larger QAnon, everybody who just wants to like the sort of dark side of the internet.
but
That's
that's how
just they
cults
want
win.
to right,
That's
and it's
how
also how fascism wins, and like the media is not telling you the truth. I tell you the truth. Don't listen to it. It is
it's having an enemy, creating an enemy.
creating an
If
enemy
you
and
can
preying on
create an enemy,
ignorance. You're not
yeah.
ignorant. You're smart. You know the truth. They've been making you feel ignorant. You're not.
Mhm.
You know the truth, and I know the truth. Now let's go together in this awful direction. I
Yeah.
think that's a lot of it. I think that's just like, and that's not new to our time. That is how you divide people over history. You know, it's just been done again, again, and again, and again.
I see, are we coming to a civil war? What do you think? Jon Stewart thinks the world's so fucked up, he's coming back to the Daily Show.
I saw the funniest thing about that on Mondays, right? Mondays.
On Mondays, and then other guest hosts, the way they've been doing for some time since Trevor Noah left, will fill in the rest of the week. If I work there, I got to be like, oh yeah, we need you.
Are you kidding me? I think I know people that work there,
It's
and
probably a treat.
they're all like, Jesus is back, like that. They're pumped because
Yeah.
I think well, I'll just get right into it, man. I think the Daily Show blew it. Everyone knew Roy Wood Jr. was the man for the show. All of comedy was rooting for him. He'd spent his time there. They should have made Roy Wood Jr. the host. They didn't, and now they're doing rotating musical chairs, and it feels like there's nothing to get excited about. Although I think people are like, even the people who write for the Daily Show are like, this is meandering, this sucks. And now the king has come back
Right.
for Mondays. I'd say if I'm working at the Daily Show, I'm delighted to be able to work for Jon
Okay.
Stewart. That's how I mean, he did that the show the best anyone's ever done it.
Sure. I haven't watched it in a while.
Me
And it
neither.
was during, just because I was doing other shit. No offense to anything, but is like close to the end of Trevor Noah's time. But I can understand people being like, I guess who gives a shit? It's just a random person. Does that mean and I love these people, a Chelsea
Yeah,
Handler,
yeah.
a Charlemagne the God, but it's like, it seems like you guys don't care over there. Do you think the audience is thinking that?
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on at Comedy Central or any of that, but I do think that it seems like it's lost some of its luster. No one really gives a fuck about the Daily Show anymore. And I think the time that people cared was Jon Stewart. So now we're about to go into like the most fucked up election ever. We all know it. So it's like you got probably the best political comic out there coming back to take
I agree.
crack every week. I'm delighted for that, just to like have a voice of reason in what's about to be a shitstorm.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
there's
come back
also
on the 12th.
date on the 12th of February.
Yeah.
There's also the Daily Show is happening, like you said, everything is DIY. So it used to be like you had to get a contract with Comedy Central. Now HBO has contracts, Netflix has contracts, YouTube, you can just go and share your political thoughts. And I think a lot of people suck, but a lot of people are very intelligent, and we can find these thoughts. And also, it's not like Jon Stewart is sitting at home this whole time not having any opinions about anything. I'm still seeing shorts. I'm still seeing his.
He did some
opinion.
Apple show. He did like 2 seasons of a show on Apple. So he was doing stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, it's called The Problem with Jon Stewart, the joke being, haha, I'm the problem. But he picks something each episode to complain about. AI, what China's doing to American democracy. But him and Apple apparently weren't getting along.
Oh, really?
All we know is creative differences.
Sure.
So I assume, I'm making this up, but I assume it's Apple TV going, we kind of work with China, for example.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't need you alienating half our fucking audience because Trump's an idiot. We don't need that here.
Right.
But
I'm
Apple,
sure you're right.
Apple has so many shows now. I just started the subscription, and it has all these.
It has everything I never saw yet. It really does, kinda.
Bananas. But all these movie stars are doing TV shows. And then I'm thinking like, oh, they must have a budget. And then I remember they're fucking Apple.
They're Apple.
It's not. Yeah, it's
They
not.
have all of our money. They have this budget just from me.
Yeah. Like
And this is the
everything
10th time I've done it.
I'm looking at you through Apple. I listen
Yeah.
on another Apple device. I call on this Apple device. Like there's Apple all over me. Of course, they can afford all these people. And
The least they can do is give me a show. I'll play ball, Apple. I won't talk about China. We're good. Give me a show.
Well, we all agree that Severance is going way too slow, right? Okay, thanks.
Severance sucks. That should be a lawsuit, this fucking Severance. Ben Stiller. Okay, more than anybody we ever talked about. This motherfucker, Ben Stiller.
Oh boy, here we go.
We pretend a goddamn genius, right? This guy, I'm a Howard Stern fan. I heard him on a Howard Stern interview, and he said straight up, will Severance make sense when this season is done? Ben Stiller said yes. Fuck you.
Well, I'm not done. I'm like on episode.
It doesn't. Spoiler. No. You're done now. You're done then. It's shit. There's no fucking answer. What? You don't know what they do for a living. Ben Stiller, there's no way your family likes you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
That's sorry. That's how I feel.
So we don't find out why the numbers are scary all of a sudden?
Nope.
I have a theory.
Go ahead. They don't. Tell them. Maybe they'll rate something for season 2. Let them know. They're taking suggestions.
This is what we're supposed to be doing, right? Like just let's see. This is a thumbs down that they're only benefiting from. But so enjoy.
This is a Severance podcast. I'm on a Severance fan podcast. Right?
Yes,
I totally. Okay, got it.
I have a completion problem where I have to finish everything. I will not see season 2 of this. Promise.
Holy shit.
That's a big deal.
My whole time watching, like I was on episode 2. I thought I was on episode 102. I was like, at any minute now, I'm going to stop fucking watching this if nothing else happens. And I just keep watching the whole time. I'm like, well, nothing's happening. I should turn this off. Let me just get to the end of this episode. So I think I'm on episode 2 or 3. I don't know. And
I don't know what episode.
I don't fucking know. It just keeps going.
Yeah,
what
am
I?
I love it.
I don't have to look for it.
You're describing the experience perfectly.
Yeah. So, so my idea is, first of all, the idea is such a good idea. And
what?
Just the idea that you can separate your brain and you only know your work life and you only know your home life and it's separated.
Sure.
They took this concept and just shit all over it because they're not really utilizing that like social concept of it. It's just all political right front. I think what they're doing is nothing. I think what they're doing is absolutely nothing. I don't think they actually have a job. I think this is all an experiment that they're allowing their brains to be fucked with. And then they're the company is just kind of monitoring them like they're rats in a cage. That's what it feels like.
That's great. I'll tell you how it feels like to me, that I'm the fucking rat in a cage and they're experimenting on me when I pay $14.99 a month.
It does feel like that. It does feel like that. But it really does feel like that. It feels like a test of how long you're going to fucking watch this until it hurts. Just like she's watching the numbers. When the numbers are scary, you got to put them in the bin. So when this thing is boring, they're testing us to see how fucking long we're going to watch this concept that I think is such a good concept that I wanted to go somewhere.
Keep paying $14.99. Do what I do. Keep paying it and don't even watch because you're too busy. Just throw the money away every month and don't watch any of that shit because your boys want to watch Paw Patrol. That's how you beat the system. Just throw the money away. Don't even watch the shit they give you.
I want them to know I could have seen it. 1 star.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to support, but I'm not really watching anything you're doing.
And then we find the happy place, the NFL playoffs. Now that never lets you down. A broken leg, a broken head. They give you that NFL heroin in the tent. They come back skipping when they had both feet broken. Now it's amazing. Somehow this is legal. Murder ball.
I love that that's why they take 2 weeks off for the Super Bowl. It's like to let the media swell, but also to just inject everyone with everything and get these poor battered men back on their feet for one final hurrah.
You see a guy really get murder ball. You get the head busted into the ground and then but he's on the ground too long and then the announcer's like, you hate to see it. I don't even know how it happened.
You hate to see it. It's like you love to see it. You literally we're waiting for this. We had a scene in my old show that I made that I've always wanted to do. I thought it's so funny. We have a kid who gets hurt in a football accident and he's on the cart and they're wheeling him off and everybody's like looking for the thumbs up and he puts his thumbs up and then he just turns it down as he heads off to who knows where. I think that's football.
I like the idea of a thumbs up and then the thumb just flops.
Yeah, you totally. I don't even have it.
I have a friend who like is just trying to figure out what to feed his kids, right? So he'll make the new food, and the kids have every right to just go thumbs up or thumbs down, just so he knows. There's also like a two thumbs up, two thumbs down, and he's like, at least they tried it. They're giving me honest truth, but now they're going to Thanksgiving dinner, right? So he's on the way, and they haven't like interacted at like a dinner, because they're very young. And so he's on the way. He's going, I know that at home we do thumbs up and thumbs down for food. Let's keep that out of this dinner. Let's just eat it or not eat it. You don't have to tell me if you're enjoying it. We'll save that for the car ride home. The kid started eating the food. He looks up at the person who made it, dead in their face, and just went,
thumbs down.
That's so great.
Just total honesty, thumbs down and no one's allowed to say anything. It was
now,
amazing.
boys, you remember Nana's heart is very weak. She's had three heart attacks this year, so let's just keep. This sucks.
Well, what is the biggest moment or something that pops into your mind, Adam, where kids do say the darndest things, where you're like, that's not. We only talk about that at home.
God, I don't even remember. I remember one when I was growing up with my little sister. We would like do lemonade stands, and I remember like I was always like, "Hey, what if we spit in there?" I just like said, "What if we spit in the lemonade?" And we were like, "No, don't," or something like that.
Right.
We decided we were like we were moral people. We didn't do it, but I had the thought we could just spit in this and no one wouldn't know. But I didn't do it. And then like somebody came up and they're like, "Oh, this lemonade's delicious!" Like throwing the kids 2 quarters to be nice.
Right.
She's like, "Yeah, because he didn't spit in it." And they're just like, glad I stopped here, kids. Thanks. Like, what the fuck is going on in this lemonade?
Does that mean you caught kind of most of it? No, he didn't spit in it.
He did. He didn't spit in it. I told you, it's delicious.
You guys, you have to get your children doing some kind of lemonade stand or something, because you will get people like me. I have bought rocks from children because they have a stand. Literal rocks. They're like, look, we drew a smiley face. I'm like, you are clever as fuck. How much? My whole wallet. Just genius. I love this. It's pure art. So yeah, I absolutely do it.
My boys are hawking
strangers.
Bitcoin. My boys hawking Bitcoin. Yeah, they're on the street hawking. They have a little booth. There's iPads set up. They're registering kids.
Right.
Pretty great.
I only have credit cards. No problem.
No problem. It's kind of a pyramid scheme. The money definitely goes up. But yeah, we get 10% of every coin purchased.
Your kid looks them in the eye like, isn't it all a pyramid scheme? It's like, oh, okay, 5-year-old. Okay.
Here's another scenario is a friend of mine has vitiligo. And so his kids know, like, it's when your skin has like patches of white or turns white, and you lose your pigment in some places. So you have like, maybe half your face is white, half your arm, whatever it is. You have patches of
it's what Michael Jackson pretends he had.
Well, I think he had it and he decided to go all white.
Sure, let's get Hollywood.
Whatever.
Right?
Whatever. This was real. So his kids know it, and they see someone in a store with vitiligo on their face. And he had to like run after them to stop them from going like, my dad also like your face and his arm and whatever, because now all you're saying is like, I see your video. I see, it's just. I
see you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, but that kind of feels good. I mean, I understand the dad's hesitation, but that is sort of a moment where it's like, we know someone like you who's got this thing. And like, I wonder how that person would have felt, where they would have been like, please don't point at me in a store, or like nice because that person has it well. And now I feel seen. I don't know. I could see that going either way.
He didn't know either. I think for one of them, he decided to go up to someone. He got some treatments and it lessened on the face, so he can't go up to someone and go, you and me, because they'll be like, what's happening? So he softly tried to come up to someone. He's like, I have this too, and you can't see it because I've been using this treatment. And he's not sure if to talk to other people about treatments, because you're saying like, do you not want to be like this? And his kids also were like, can you not get the treatments on your legs or some part of you, because they think it's so cool that he has all these different colors on him. So they're asking him not to fully get all the treatments everywhere if he can. And it was so sweet.
It is interesting though. It's like, if you have that, you don't necessarily want to be somebody else's teachable moment. You might not be in the mood.
Right.
Like I was with my kids and there's a dude in a wheelchair. And it was the first time I think it was just the oldest one. He'd seen a dude in a wheelchair and he's like, why is he in a wheelchair? Like, what's going
Like a
on with this
legit
loudly.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, some people don't have use of their legs, but immediately to like, and they're just the same as us. It's just that their legs don't work, so they have a wheelchair or whatever. And I'm like saying it within the earshot of this guy, not and hoping he'll jump in and be like, "That's right," and I'm the same as you, and we're all great, shiny, happy people holding hands. But I'm sure this guy's like, "Fuck you, dude! Like, I'm in a wheelchair, I'm late, I'm not here
It's not
to
the
be."
same, Dick Dick
I
Ben.
know, right, and I'm not here to teach your kid right now. So
Right.
see you later. Like, you never know, but it's
Wheelchair.
and then I showed him Wheelchair the musical, and it all made sense.
Now, doing the math real quick, you had at least one of these kids during the pandemic, right?
Oh, you better believe it.
Now, what balls this is, right? Yeah,
Yep.
never mind the world falling apart.
Yep.
There's the pandemic, forest fires, et cetera, et cetera. It makes me think of that movie, A Quiet Place, where if they made any noise, the monsters find you and they kill you. But they couldn't help but fucking have a baby and then try to figure out how to make it not cry so the monsters don't find them and eat them. It's okay. The world's falling apart, but to drop a load is so fun, right?
Exactly. Like, why were we put on the planet in the first place? But to drop loads, as I believe Shakespeare said. So, yes, in the face of certain, apocalypse, I said, no, life must go on. Here's a load. And my wife, being a romantic herself, was like, well, I could not receive that. This is a gesture of love in the face of near death. Of course.
You're such a proper person. You have a hyphen in your name. Of course, I respect you.
Of course. Not only will I take both of your names, unfurl your load.
You said something in your stand-up about another kid, maybe 2-3 years old, and like.
Oh no, I think I said exactly what you're talking about. It's like, it'll fix this problem, it'll fix this world. Another white dude. That's what we need. Let's just throw another white dude at the situation.
I was thinking of a kid saying to you, like, "Oh, you're a cool guy," and you're like, "Man, I didn't know I needed to hear that until you said that, stupid little kid."
Yeah.
I'm a cool guy, am I? At Thanksgiving, I went to a friend's house, and he had his kid, a 2-year-old, and a friend's kid was there, a 2-year-old, and they kept gravitating toward me, like I don't know, I'd toss him a ball in the living room or play a truck up the wall, whatever the fuck. But man, it was validating. I'm like, look, everybody, they're coming towards me. They have no agenda. Take a picture.
I think kids can sniff bullshit, right? And I think being a real grown up in the 9-to-5 world is bullshit, and like everyone knows that. So it's like, all right, the guy that wears a suit and goes to work every day, or the guy who's doing podcasts, like, who's less bullshit? So I think the kids are just like, this guy seems fun. That guy doesn't seem fun. I think it's a compliment. It's kind of like, I think you're approaching the world from a sort of place that I'm approaching the world
beware
from.
your kids reacting to that, because it's like, oh, this guy pays his bills and goes to work at certain times.
Boring.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down all the way. And I don't even care if it's the same, because it is the same, because one person knows what he's making at the end of the year and the other one doesn't. So if you want to call one of them fun.
Valid point.
The kid ran over and said, I heard you say you don't know when quarterlies are due. Let's play trucks. He could tell. It's an aura.
Also, of course, it feels so good to be validated by a kid, but at the same time, they're also going like, you and I, same brainwaves.
Yes. Yeah.
I
relate to you.
I relate to you, right?
I have a joke on my album where I talk about kids and you can teach them whatever you want, and I teach them this weird sound that a giraffe makes. We tell our son that giraffes say "hort," just like giraffes say "hort," and he like buys it. It's a whole bit or whatever. And my kid's teacher, before that joke came out on the album, she came up to me and she's like, is Malcolm really like giraffes or something? Like, what's up with giraffe? And I was like, oh yeah, why? What's that about? She's like, well, he was telling us that giraffes say "hort." He was asking us if they say "hort," and I was like, no, they don't say "hort." I don't know what they say. And he's like, that's what I thought. And so, like, my son already, this was a year ago, at 4, he's like, I think my dad might be full of shit. Like, and I'm going to go ask a teacher who's not full of shit and then prove him wrong. So, yeah, you might be onto something with being on the same level. Malcolm may have already leveled up a little bit.
Has there ever been a point of contention that doing stand-up more a late night job, of course. And I don't know if your early 40s, if networking is still a thing. Do you have to be careful you don't come home drunk because it seems disrespectful? I had to watch the kids all day, and you're doing your job.
Well, there's lots of tiers to that question. First of all, I'm no longer about networking. I'm burning bridges as the next state of my career. I've done
2024 is my year to burn.
I've done all the networking I care to do, and some of it I wish I hadn't even done. I'm burning bridges. I want to get it down to 3 friends tops for the rest of my life. Coming home drunk, stand up is like what the earliest show I'd possibly do would be like 7. You know what I mean? And if I'm playing a club, I'm not home till midnight or something like that. So the wife's asleep. The real thing is do whatever you want to do, but just know you will be up at 7 a.m. tomorrow, period. So like whatever state you want to be in, however hurt you want to feel, that's on you, my man. So like you really measure your fun. You're like, this better be fucking awesome. Or like I'm gonna be hurting for the whole goddamn day with kids on top of you, not giving a shit, not giving you any rest or space. So it's more just like survival for me. Choose your battles. Right. And when I go on the road, okay, now let's have some fun. Now let's party. Right. And I can sleep till 9, and what a miracle.
Till 9. You take a shot of tequila at the bar, and you're like, this was just tequila. And bartender's like, that's what you said. It's like, yeah, I know, but it's looking for fucking magic or something.
I said put fentanyl in a cigarette in that motherfucker. I've got 1 hour to party, dude. Make it count.
I saw there's a couple clips online I'm thinking about, memes, where
I read a very convincing meme the other day.
Right. Well, I'm seeing like I call them videos, but apparently they're called memes. Anything you show somebody is a meme. Like a teenager is, you flip the water bottle and you make it, 360 and land on.
Oh, sure.
It's amazing. So this teenager does like 50 of these around a pool table, and he's flipping it over and over again. But the dad was there being like, go, keep going. You got it. Yeah, you did it. And all it felt like was abuse to me. And it's making me think of another video that's popular where the dad's watching sports with the kid, and the dad goes, yeah, I mean, a real small kid. I don't know if you say toddler. And he goes, yeah. And then I guess it was an interception. And the dad goes, oh, and you see with his hands on his head leaning back. And the kid goes, yeah. And then looks at his dad and then mimics him. Hand on the head. Oh, and of course it's sent out as like the cutest thing you ever see. And I'm like, is all this abuse?
Why is that one abuse?
It feels like the kid just wants his dad to be happy. Now, all I saw was 2 seconds. It's funny. That's where I went, but he doesn't know what's going on. Is just copying shit. I don't know if I necessarily have a question. It just feels weird. Do you worry what your kid mimics?
Keith, let's turn the mirror around, dude. So with your dad,
yeah,
he make you mimic his highs and lows?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Did he?
Sure.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah. You didn't have fun if he wasn't having fun.
There you go. So maybe that's why you just pick up. I don't know. I'm not saying your relationship was abusive, but now you're saying I didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy that, and so I didn't enjoy this 30-second snippet that everybody else finds so nice.
Yeah.
I, Keith, find that abusive. Let that kid have his own emotions, right?
Yes. Yeah. I know the kid's not really happy.
No, I understand that. I think. No, fuck that. Your kids have all the emotions in the world when they're not around you. When they're around you, be a mirror or get out of here. I don't want to see anything other than what I'm doing. I only am capable of having one emotion at a time, and it's mine.
I see a kid in the sports shirt. I go, yeah, name one player. One.
Oh, yeah. I always see kids in like Nirvana t-shirts. Name 3 songs.
Right. Yeah. What's that number mean on your shirt? Who is it? The answer's on your back.
Totally. I'm a big Nuggets fan. I'm a big basketball fan. We just took the boys to their first game. My 2-year-old is kind of a goon. He's a goon in the making. He can name the starting 5 of the Nuggets. I'm just like, all right, keep going. And like Jokic.
I thought when you said Nuggets, you were going to McDonald's. And I was like, of course they like McDonald's. So he's ahead of me.
Now I'm going to the Denver Nuggets. I'm proud of this. I've never taken my kids to fast food. And the one's 5.5. They don't even know what it is. They know what burgers and fries are. They've had those from places, but I've never taken them to fast food.
Really?
Like I've taken them to a Chipotle is like the closest they've come to that.
Do you count pizza as fast food?
They've had plenty of pizza. They've had plenty of pizza.
That's
mean,
I know.
different,
I'm
though.
talking. I'm talking
It does feel
drive
different.
through McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, just like what we all know is trash that I definitely loved and had early on. I've managed to avoid that. I'm proud of that one.
Is this weird? I count pizza as real food. Like
Sure.
I don't count that as I'm having some shit lunch or something. I'm like, no, this is legit food.
Are you guys
if
in New York? Are you in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think New York pizza is superior to every place in
Yes.
the world?
It is. It really is.
Yeah,
though.
come on.
Can I add, this is going to ruffle some feathers.
Try.
Don't you think everywhere in the world is just doing New York pizza? Isn't New York pizza the norm? So like
Chicago might argue with you.
Yeah, but that's just this deep dish bullshit. Like if you ask for a piece of pizza, it's a New York slice. That's what like the dictionary would show, right? So what makes it so good in New York? The water? The water that they tell you not to drink?
I can't tell you what makes it good, like ingredients wise, because I don't make pizza, but the consideration of the ratios, the freshness, the turnaround, the slice by slice. A lot of people don't do slices, so maybe the turnaround isn't big. The thinness of the crust and the fact that like you're just keeping it as simple as possible.
Okay.
And burn that shit just a little bit. And if my mouth is actually on fire, extra points.
And that you got to kind of fold it, and it's a struggle to eat. It's a rose is so beautiful because of the thorns.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I love that. You guys are making merch every couple of sentences here.
You were talking about on your stand-up how your one kid loved trucks.
Yes.
And you know, you're next level. So you're like, well, I don't want to have a kid that's a fucking dork. Let me buy a doll for him. You know,
right.
Something that would normally be for a girl. And so you go into the store, I'm going to buy a doll. Long story short, he goes, I'm going to go a black doll. I'm curious about this. When you even bought it in the store, like I blind a black doll, were you almost patting yourself on the back or hoping you'd get like a smile, like, good for you? I don't know the story or who this is for, but good for you.
Oh, of course. There's a performative. I'm like looking at the cameras in the store, like, huh? You see me? I'm one of the good ones, guys. I think it was more just weird because they're like, I'm a man alone buying a black girl doll baby. Like, what's going on here? Like, you wouldn't know that I had a kid in that situation. So
Right.
you're just wondering what the hell this guy's doing with that fucking doll.
And then he ends up going on about how next thing I know, I got my white son keeps brushing the black girl's hair, and I'm like, no, you can't touch their hair. This is going horribly.
Reverse engineered the most socially tone deaf white man of all time. That's a true story, dude. He still has that doll, Gabby, in there. He loves her.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for her. Good for everybody.
Good for all the LM and Ellis and all the kids in there.
Good for Key Lime. Good for the I go to the theater a lot, and there was
the theater. Can we just add the word movie to that?
I go to the movie theater.
Okay.
I love that. I'm gonna start saying that too. I was at the theater this afternoon, and I have popcorn and Diet Coke all over my pants.
He just said we live in New York. It could be so many theaters.
I love it. I love that.
I regularly frequent the theater, and this happens to be my theater shirt that I'm wearing.
My favorite theater move is to drill a hole in the bottom of the popcorn, and then everyone around me is surprised by what they find. You know, theater stuff, vaudeville and whatnot.
And so I go a lot, and there was some kind of jag some time ago where it was a lot of black movies were out. And, you know, I don't know, I'm just going to make some up. Wakanda Forever, maybe Thurgood Marshall, let's say Get Out. And the manager was a black woman. And she started asking me what I'm seeing because she started recognizing me. I went so much. And every time I saw her, it happened to be a black movie. And she was very pleased with me. And it made me very happy.
Sure.
And that's the story of my first black friend.
But I'm very, so I understand the struggle.
Costanza.
And then one time I went to see, you know, Top Gun 2, and she asked, and I'm like, I don't want to. Well, no.
I don't want to tell you. I'm here for the new Tyler Perry. I just love that dude. Whatever he does, I gotta see it. So what is that a question?
No, it's just it went with the black doll that I understand. Like, look at me.
Yes, yes, yes,
Right.
yes. There's white guilt forever. So there's a level of performative when you're like, I'm not a racist asshole. I'm a good guy.
Right.
You just like you kind of want someone to notice it, but then you're like, I fear thou doth protest too much. Just do the thing and hope no one notices. But I totally hear you on that.
I like the story you brought up on one of your albums where you said just the world is so divided and the world has gotten so strange in our lifetime that if Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding, if that bullshit happened today, a lot of people would be on Tanya Harding's side.
Yeah,
You're telling me you
exactly.
never wanted to fucking club a smug bitch's knees caps?
Yeah,
You're
it's like
telling me.
she learned how to figure skate in a mall, dude. That's a real American right there. Just the trash would come out of the woodwork. It is though. That's such a. I mean, I believe that point. Like that's how divided, and that's what we're talking about. Like Nancy or Tanya Harding was just like 20 years too early. If she had done that
Right.
now, she would be running for VP with Trump. Like this
Right.
is this is my number two on the ticket right here for sure. Because you can just make that a champion. It's like, no, you're a monster that like orchestrated the fucking clubbing of your competitor.
You're so right because Mike Tyson gets so many more parts in movies than actors who have worked their faces off, took classes, went to school, like all this stuff. And he bit someone's ear off, raped at least one person, was convicted of these like it was it's this is very black and white. And it's like, you know, it would be funny if Mike Tyson was just a regular dude in our movie. And it's like,
Right.
I know.
what?
It's really weird. I think it's all been clicks the whole time. We just didn't have the language for it back then. It's just like, how do you zeitgeist? How do you get views? How do you get reads, watches, all of it? And it's like, I think we're so dumb. Good or bad doesn't really mean anything to us. We're just kind of like, I can't stop watching.
Mm.
So if that has to be president, okay, whatever. Or like, it's just kind of where we've gotten, unfortunately. And
I
we should
kind of
all we
wonder.
should all turn our computers off.
Going back, I do
Not
kind
yet.
of.
We're almost done with the show. Like
Oh,
after
okay, all right.
this.
No, I mean like after the show.
After our
Everyone should
reels.
go have tea and go on a walk through the
Well, you know
woods.
what's
That's all I'm
funny?
saying.
I do scroll as we all do. I
Doom
use
scroll.
the I no, I use the bathroom. And so I'm going from video to video. Love it, love it. You people are making amazing content. And then I get to the thing where like, are you doom scrolling? Here's what you do instead. And I'm like, dude, you are part of my scroll. Like I
Right, right.
reached you because you're doing algorithm shit too. So I can't help it. I just go, no, man. And I keep going because I'm like, don't judge me while I'm doing the thing that you need me to do.
You know what's funny about the algorithm, besides a lot of things, is like when I was a single man and I was on social media, of course, I'm looking at more boobs, hot girls, whatever. That's like in my feed. And then you become a married man and you clean your act up and you're like, okay, I'm not doing this as much, whatever. But they still really want you to do it. So like anything you start liking, I play soccer. I watch all these soccer clips and it's like, okay, here's a clip of this, here's a clip of that. Suddenly it's like, here's some women in Brazil playing soccer. Here's some women in like bikinis playing soccer in Brazil. They're like trying to get you back. They're like, we remember.
We
You're
know
like,
you.
I like art. Okay, here's Van Gogh. Here's a nude model. Like, well, okay, wait. Like they're always trying to lure you back into the toxic shit.
When it comes to let's say Mike Tyson being in movies, how are people okay with it? He was a convicted rapist, among other things. Is it because, like kind of alluded to, we just want to play dumb, or life would be too overwhelming? Because I would like to play dumb the way people do. I've said this before, but there was a time where I really wished that we found out that OJ wasn't the real killer. And once I would learn that, I'd be able to go, you know what? Throw my hands in there. Who knows anything? And just walk around all fucking dopey and not try to make change. Like, what a treat that would be. Is that what people are doing?
Dude, I think Keith, you nailed it. I think that's a very profound insight. Like, I think outrage is exhausting, and you only have so much of an appetite for it. And I think a lot of people that are like anti woke crusaders
Right.
are responding to that. They're like, okay, you're getting mad about this, you're getting mad about that. They don't have the time or the bandwidth for any more outrage. So they've just
Well,
gone a whole other direction where it's like, I'm not going to be bothered by anything.
I'm
I
going to
don't care.
go a different direction and say that these people were never outraged by this. Since when are we outraged by rape? That's very, very new. We, until just 5 minutes ago, said boys will be boys. And the only reason we don't say boys will be boys anymore is because we get shushed up for saying that. But all we were saying is boys will be. Why'd you go into that hotel room? You knew you were going to get raped. Boys will be boys. So why are we surprised that people don't like the rapist? We
But
love
even
rapists.
but
We
even
fucking
like,
love them. They've been in our history our whole life. They have been the leaders.
hey, when AI chops this up, I didn't say that. I don't love them. But people who are smart, people I'd call friends would hear like, oh, Chick-fil-A is actively fighting a homosexual agenda, let's say, and I'd say something like that, and then they're like, did you look into all the other food companies? Okay, this one is clear. I'm just
Right.
saying
And
this
then they're
one
like,
is clear.
right. I mean, we could teach a college course on this shit, but I think like America was kind of founded on this false myth of like a city on a hill, and we are democracy and we are the world leaders. And then it's like, but don't talk about slavery, don't talk about genocide of Native Americans, don't talk about this and that. So it's like there's these dual tracks of America. It's like we're the best that ever was, and a lot of people just want to fucking believe that and never have to question that. And then there's the other half of the country is like, hey guys, lots of asterisks is on that. Like democracy was a great idea. We did it best, but lots of asterisks. And so like those two do not seem to be meeting, and instead seem to be getting further and further away towards what end, I don't know. But it does now it's become ignorance is a badge of pride. It's like, all right, libtard, you're going to pick apart America. I'm a piece of shit. Sorry, here's a Punisher sticker on my truck. Fuck you. I don't care.
Right.
Like it's just that black and white now.
You brought up a great point in your stand-up. Once they took Pluto away as a planet, everyone was like, well, then who fucking knows?
Exactly. That was the straw that broke everybody's back. They're like, Pluto was the one thing. Yeah, as I say in that joke, it's like you telling a guy, that guy knows like 3 things for sure, and you just took one of them away. And now you want to talk to him about global warming and like wage inequality. He's not prepared to handle it.
Stephen Hawking, before he passed away, he goes, I was wrong. There actually is no rhyme or reason to the universe. And I'm like, then fuck off.
Is that true?
Yeah. He goes, I was all right. I want to talk to my high school science teacher. Mr. Ladich, I got an F. Fuck off.
Just get your nut off. I'll be on Bezos's island.
Right.
These are the smartest we have. Oh, well, might as well tell some dick jokes till we die, huh, guys?
So here's what you want to do. You want to hear the latest stand-up. You want to hear all of them, but the latest from Adam Cayton-Holland is called Wallpaper. I didn't hear necessarily a reference to that in the stand-up. I'm guessing in the family, you're the wallpaper.
Yeah, there is a joke in it somewhere towards the end where it's like, as you become sort of the wallpaper as a dad, you drift into the background and you become wallpaper. As I say, your job as a dad is to pay for everything and shut the fuck up about it.
Then the other albums, Hot Takes, Semblance of Normalcy, Signature Bits, I Don't Know If I'm Happy is the first one. He comes out speaking Spanish on there. He'll test the audience. He doesn't give a shit. Are you fluent? Because it sounded fluent, but you could have just been making shit up.
Simón, soy afluente. Viví en España hace 20 años.
Sí.
You lived in Spain for 20 years. So
I lived in Spain 20 years ago.
20 years ago. Okay. I heard 20 years.
You got it. You get it. That's enough.
Right.
I used to be real good. And then you don't speak it, you fall off. But like whenever I go into I can get anything I need in Spanish. I can do whatever.
When I went to Spain, I was hoping that people talk to me, but it's, they speak so much English there that it's not.
You got a Spanish look for sure. I could see people thinking you're from Spain for sure.
Oh, that didn't happen, but thank you, I think. But I hear it and I'm just like, I understood 8 out of the 10 words and I'm going to completely misunderstand you, but thank you so much.
I was so bad at it. I'm pissing in the library. I'm like, I know these words, but oh boy, I would cheat. I took 3 years of Spanish, but I always cheated off people. Year number 4 came up. Day 1, the teacher's like, "We're not fucking around." Starts a whole paragraph in Spanish, welcoming us back, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take newspaper, English newspaper." And I thought she'd be like, "No, you can buckle down and get it." She couldn't sign my paper of transfer fast
She was
enough.
trying to weed you out. She's like, I'm gonna go right at this kid.
She's writing it on my back as she's walking me out the door.
I had a teacher. I cheated in chemistry real hard off my buddy who went on to become a chemist. So at least I had good aim. And the teacher liked me, and he's like, "But I think you're cheating off this dude." So for like 2 weeks, he just moved me from my buddy, and my scores plummeted. And then he just moved me back. He didn't care. He just wanted to know. He just wanted to know. And he's like, "I get it. I'm onto your shit. You're not about chemistry. You're a writer, dude. Whatever. But like, I want you to know that I know." And I was like,
my
"Cool.
teacher was like,
Got it."
your job this weekend is to rate a story in Spanish. So I would go in a Spanish dictionary, find that when they use the word as an example, and find like 5 sentences that come together and make sense. And she's like,
That's
I didn't
amazing.
teach you the present participle of that. And I'm like, it just felt right.
It's just, it's like I intuited it. It just
Right.
feels natural.
Why wouldn't it end with este? That makes sense to me.
You go from past to the future. It's just the course of history.
Was it a school trip or what? Why Spain?
Oh no, I lived there. I studied abroad there when I was in college, and then when I graduated college, I wasn't doing jack shit, and I had a buddy who was moving back there for like a Fulbright scholarship, and so I just moved with him. We got an apartment together, and I tried to like teach English, but couldn't do it. I just
Because they all
partied.
speak Spanish. Yeah.
Well, I tried to teach English, but you need a visa to do that, but you can't get a visa unless you have a job. It's like a real catch-22.
Right.
So basically, I just wasted money for 8 months and partied and had a blast. So
Good for you.
all said and done, I spent like over a year in Spain, and then I traveled around Mexico for like 4 months. I've done a lot of like
Wow.
Latin America stuff.
Should America have siestas as
Oh
a
my
law?
God, are you kidding me? Yes.
Wait,
That's
we
the best
don't?
thing ever.
We don't. We have a
Are
different
you
job.
going to a siesta right now?
I'm on one right now.
Oh, yeah. You
This
can
is a
pod?
dream.
This is a siesta pod? That'd be
Um,
great. Just fever dream siesta pods where you're like in and out of consciousness. They're all out
Adam
of Spain.
Cayton-Holland, do me a favor. Let's get serious. Tell the
Yeah,
audience
okay.
what they
All
need
right.
to know. I mentioned, of course, the albums. I mentioned the podcast, The Grolix Saves the World.
That's exactly right. That's out everywhere. So my buddy Ben Roy has been on this show, and
Yep.
this other dude, Andrew Orvidal. It's a great pod. It's really growing fast, and we're having a lot of fun.
Good.
I've known those dudes for 15 years. We've done a lot of stuff together, and it's a lot of fun on the podcast. So yeah,
Excellent.
come watch Wallpaper. Grolic Saves the World. You can find me on all the social medias at Cayton-Holland.
There you have it. Very nice meeting you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me on the pod or the
Yeah.
show or the whatever.
Check the calendar. February 3rd through the 4th is our 24-hour marathon. Your favorite guests, maybe Adam will say hello. 24 hours, hour after hour, guest after guest. It's always a good time.
And do you know that's next week? The comedy marathon is next week. It's on our YouTube channel. It's next fucking week. So if
Wow.
you're listening to this next week, it's now.
Oh shit,
Holy
it
shit.
is. I'm looking at my calendar. It really is. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. You think you have to flip the page because you're looking at like
Yeah.
yeah.
A wall calendar, but
Right.
it gives you this month, the way it worked out. You can see a couple days of next month, and so
Yeah.
I'm staring right at it.
It's next week, you guys. So make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. And oh my God, why are we doing that? Let's just do it. Okay, we can
I'm
do
going to
it.
pop in at hour 17 when you guys have just lost it and there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Oh, yeah.
anymore.
Oh, you will
Oh.
get some of that. You will get some of that.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you.
And you'll be tired too, just living life. So we'll get the real secrets.
I'll be
about the
siesta
kids.
podcasting, dude. I'll be on my siesta
Right.
pod. I'll just jump in.
KeithAndTheGirl.com. Take a look around. KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP is every show we've ever done. Almost 20 years of this now. Bonus spinoffs, et cetera, et cetera. We'll talk to you soon. That's it.
Now, we're done with the ep. I just want to quickly, I just want to note that I saw in the chat while we were live that Pizza, and his name is Pizza in
Okay.
the chat,
Hello.
says best pizzas in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
I
I've
just-
been hearing about that. Everybody talks about Phoenix pizza. You guys ever have that Phoenix pizza?
I think I know what he's talking about. There's a pizza place there that's Oprah's favorite pizza.
Oh.
And it's like, they have some ovens from Italy and blah, 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 blah. But it's bullshit. I'm with you on the New York thing, but I bet that's what that person's talking about.
I've I've heard ingredients coming from Italy. I didn't know. I didn't know it was about the oven being made in Italy.
They brought the oven. They brought the pizza guy. The ingredients. They all came over in a huge package together.
Well, I feel the need to tell pizza that they're wrong about pizza. I don't know about Phoenix, Arizona. I don't even know if I've been. So you needed to know that. Also, Chris says, when I think Oprah, I think pizza. So that's great.
She does come from a place of knowing. I don't think anyone can argue this.
So we're gonna leave it there. Thank you, pizza. Not this pizza for having wrong information, but the pizza that I definitely ate sometime probably in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Always thank you to pizza.
Thank you to
Love
pizza, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Thank
Yeah.
you, pizza.
Should just name the show. Thank you for pizza.
Thank you.